Ashland's finally back. After the Bridges and Ports update, it took me days of troubleshooting just to get the city to load. Once it did, what I found wasn't pretty. Now the list is long, so I'm only going to go over a few. Commercial vacancies have skyrocketed, the simulation's barely holding together, public transit is completely overwhelmed, even building a simple port has become a massive challenge. Today, we're going to tackle that challenge head on. We'll replace our old, outdated, dusty cargo port with a brand new modern one. And since the simulation's running so slow, I had to find a clever workaround to place all the subbuildings. We'll get into that later. We'll also build a new interchange for the port area, improve transit, and honestly so much more. Let's jump in. Alright, welcome back to Ashland, and it feels good to be back. I wasn't sure if we were going to make it back after the problems I was having with loading it up, but thankfully it was just the ploppable citizens mod, and once I got rid of that, everything started working and we're back in. Now I've let a bunch of time simulate, and there is a lot of problems going on. Pretty much every business is having high resource costs, and there is lots of traffic jams. So let's just take a look down here. And yeah, we got lots of pedestrians, and we're moving at a crawl right now. Something that I've noticed while simulating is that it'll speed up and then it'll slow down. Right now we're at roughly 0.44%, which is not very good. And then at other times, all of a sudden, we're simulating at 2 times perfectly fine. So I'm thinking there's still some things going on underneath the hood that the game is trying to calculate for. Now with all these problems, I'm hoping our new port will at least solve the high resource costs. And actually, after simulating, we didn't really lose too much population. It was only about 1,000 people, which isn't too bad whatsoever. Now, for our port, I'm probably going to delete this one. We're going to decommission this. I'm thinking, honestly, this entire area might just go. We might keep the highway, but I'd love to know what people think. I don't really like this area. It did not come out the way that I wanted it to. I think this over here is still perfectly fine. I do want to expand the farms, but that'll come at a later date. For now, let's just get focusing on the port. And we're going to talk about placement before we do anything else. There's a few main things that I'm considering. I want to have strong highway access. It doesn't need to be directly connected in, but I still want it to have good access. I want it to be close to Birch Heights, which is our densest district in the entirety of Ashland, but I don't want it to be in our marina. And that's mostly just because this road right here is doing so much heavy lifting. And even though it does have decent access to the highway, as we can see, this is already jammed. And I have a solution to fix this, and so we'll get onto that later as well. Really though, the biggest reason is that I still want to use this for pedestrian and tourism-centered uses, and I just don't want to put a port right here. Next, I want to make sure that the area has a strong connection to our freight rail network. Right now, there's a line going right above the Rosewood Industrial Park. So it comes from our outside connection, and it comes from this outside connection as well. And they try and do some kind of merge here. It's a lot going on. The freight rail also kind of excludes Birch Heights, just because we don't have one running in. We have a passenger line, which swaps over to our subway station. All of that leads me to want to place it right here, right in this little section. It's got strong highway access. We'll have to give it an interchange though. And it's going to have strong access to our freight rail network. So all we'll have to do is grab this line and send it all the way down, kind of mirror the highway a bit, and then connect into our outside connection. And then from somewhere around here, we can pull our freight rail line down and send it all the way into our port. There will be some considerations that we'll have to make though, because if we're looking at the contour lines, yeah, it's definitely a bit hilly here, definitely a bit rough. And we can work around it. It's just going to take a lot of work to do it. Now let's get started on our port. And also, if you're wondering why the water looks different, that's because the water visual tweaks mod is currently broken. So at the time of recording this, it's a bit darker. Now, first things first, we're going to have to do a bunch of terraforming, and I'm not even going to worry about this in the slightest. I'm going to go crazy. So I hope you're all for it. We're going to grab a height, and I think there's a few heights that we can work from. We have our waterline height right here, which maybe is just a little bit too low. And then we have something kind of like this right here, which I think might be a bit more fitting. So I'm going to quickly fill in this area. Okay, now this won't be all the terraforming that we do. We still need to do a bunch more, but this is going to be our base, our flat ground to work from. What I want to do here though is create somewhat of a breakwater, but we'll also send a road down the breakwater as well. It'll curve alongside here. We'll most likely have one specific segregated industry here. Now to do this, I actually like to use anarchy, ground level, constant slope, and just a normal road tool. So what we'll do is we'll come to right about here, and we're going to pull this all the way straight. Or not so much straight. I feel like we'll want to go on a somewhat angle. So if we're looking at this as a whole, then maybe we want to do something kind of like this to start out. We're going to have to get rid of these lines because they're going to interrupt with everything else we're doing. And our boat just disappears, and our line will probably break because of that. Now I'm going to use the continuous curve tool, and what I'm going to do is create one big giant curve, and just bear with me, this won't be the final design. And this right here will be our rough start. It's kind of difficult to tell what you want to do until you start getting the buildings down. But now with this, I'm going to set our brush strength to 100% and just start pulling this down. All right, and pretty much something like that right there is exactly what I want to do. Now, it won't be perfect, and we'll probably need to do a lot of adjustment until we get this right, but this is pretty close. I'm taking a lot of inspiration from Rotterdam because we have this middle piece right here. In fact, if we wanted to, we could probably extend our port just like Rotterdam all the way down. We'd have to do a bit more work, but I definitely think that could be something for future expansion, and I accidentally clicked. What is wrong with me? Now I'm going to put away this dangerous weapon before somebody gets hurt, and nobody's seen anything, so. All right, like I was saying, we could continue our port down if we wanted to. For right now, we're going to focus on this little section right here though. Now before we do any more road work, I want to take one of our seaways, and the wide seaway is definitely going to be way too wide. What about a narrow? I feel like the narrow is pretty much perfect. My question is, what do the cargo ships need? Could they operate off a narrow path? Like let's say I upgrade this right here. I'm not seeing any problems with the pathing, so I'm going to take that as, yeah, the narrow path can work. And for now, we're going to place this kind of like this right here. We'll mirror our road, so we'll pull that down just a bit more. I was trying to terraform close to the seaway, but I realized I had anarchy on, so it didn't work the way I wanted it to. And I also realized we don't own these tiles. So I'm operating in space that we don't even own. Let's get these bought. So we'll need these 4, this one for sure, and definitely these 3. We'll need to do something here, I imagine, with an interchange. $108,000 per month, $2 million up front. We have $25 million. We're rich. We don't got to worry about this. All right, now let's go back to getting this fixed. So we'll pull this all the way close to our sea lane, and there we go. So now we have the room. We have the clearly defined border. That's really what I wanted to see. So this is road 1, and we're also going to have a second one running up. Again, just kind of like Rotterdam. And I think to actually make this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mirror the exact same angle as this road. So at a 90, I'll send this down, and let's say 60 units for now. And then we're going to send this all the way up another 60. We can delete this little section right here. And now we're going to do the exact same thing with our terraforming. And that gives us this right here. Now I'm noticing that there's a kind of a kink in this road. So let's get this straightened out, and I wish the sun would stop blinding me. It's insane. All right, and that's already so much better. Only reason this matters though, is because I want to mirror this angle, and we're gonna go one full circle from our seaway. And we're gonna send this in as well. Now we can delete this little middle section right here. We'll continue this road all the way up until this point. That's pretty much perfect. All right, next up, I want to get these 2 roads connected in. For now, we're going to use our 2-lane road. We'll extend this road even further down. Somewhere right about here, I think should do the trick for now. All right, now before we build anything else, I'm going to lose scope if I don't get the main gate in. In order to get the main gate, I need to build an interchange because it's the only way I'm going to be able to understand where the main gate needs to go. And I think the easiest way to start this out is actually going to be to fix the highway. Now, there's a slight weirdness about the slope. It kind of comes down just a little bit and then goes back up and then goes back down. And that's because I didn't have constant slope on when I made it. So I want to get this fixed. That way we can actually get our main gate in. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to pull all the way back from this elevated segment to right about here. I'm going to do it on both sides. And now we're going to grab our 3-lane highway. We'll turn parallel mode on. And if I'm correct, it was 0.5 units. And yeah, I think that looks good to me. We'll turn elevated on and we'll make sure constant slope is on. I'm going to turn off these 2 snappings. And then I'm just going to bring this all the way over directly into this highway. And if everything is looking good, we should have a much more reasonable slope. Except for right here, it still bows a little bit. But that right there is fine with me. I can work with this. So now if we want to get an interchange in here, we can see there is, again, a bunch of terrain to work with. And if we take a look, that alone would give us 2.1%. Still not good though, because it doesn't leave us much room to put our main gate in anywhere. And so what I'm thinking is we're going to have to do a bit more terraforming, and we're going to need to get somewhere roughly where a road could run under. I'm going to try right there. We'll turn off snap to existing geometry. And if we just put that across and turn off anarchy. Okay, let's see. If we just put that across, yeah. So we should have a bit of room. So if everything is looking good with this height, I'm going to start pulling it all the way through. And for now, this right here will do the trick. Now I think I'm going to build, let's see, I think maybe just a folded diamond. Just given the grade, I think it's going to be the best fit. And the folded diamond will probably connect into a 4-lane 2-way highway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on snap to existing geometry. We'll keep constant slope on, it won't hurt anything. What we need to do is we need to find the middle point. And it doesn't exactly matter where it is. I'm going to say right here. Then grabbing this point, I'm just going to send it down, let's say 15 units. I feel like that should be pretty good. And then we'll also send this side down 15 units as well. Just like that. Now we're going to take both of these and send them at a 90-degree angle. And then we'll just delete these extra little segments right here. Then we just have to grab this road and right in at a 90. And it's not because there's overlapping items. And it's our pillars. Our pillars are right there. So it doesn't actually matter too much. What we can do is we can go up another 3 units. And then we can send that all the way across and then all the way in. And now we can delete these parts right here. And that should give us a fairly equal side. And of course it doesn't because I messed it up. All right, and that gives us 2 sides, both completely equal. Now the next part is figuring out how far apart we want our connections to be. And so what I'm thinking is 10 units. So anywhere, doesn't matter where, we'll connect directly in. And then this is a measurement point. So we're now 10 units away from the highway on this side. And now from this point, what we're going to do is we're going to go up 5 units. Now we can delete these 2 pieces, grab back onto here and go another 5 units. Perfect. And now we're going to do the exact same thing on this side. And then this gives us very symmetrical connections. It doesn't have to turn out perfect, but as perfect as I can get it, it's always just a little bit easier to look at. Now we need 2 more measurements on both sides. So we're going to grab from this point, and I think actually before we do anything else, we should probably slope up. So we're going to grab this height right here, and we're going to pull that out to both sides. And now we'll grab our slope terrain tool and just slope directly up to this the entire way on both sides of the highway. And I'm going to soften this up and mess with it afterwards, that way it doesn't look so perfect. But doing this right now just makes it a million times easier. And now what we can do is we can go up, let's say 20 units. And we're going to connect directly into the highway. And I'm going to get real close because I want to make sure that this is a complete 90. Perfect. And then all we need to do is just split right here. And this is going to be our measurement point. Then this can pretty much go. Then I'll grab back here. And I'm going to say another 5 units up. I'm gonna say 10, another 10 units up. We'll connect back into 90 and make one more measurement point right across from here. And now what we can do is delete this. And the reason this matters is for our complex curve that we're gonna use. Now to make our complex curve even easier, right above this point, I'm gonna upgrade this to a 4-lane road. And it's a whole lot of capacity for a road that barely sees any use, but I'm gonna do it anyways. All right, so now we have our measurement points, and then I'll just quickly do it for the other side as well. Okay, now unfortunately this one required a bit more work, and it means I had to mess with our bridge a bit. So I turned it into a 4-lane. The 4-lane ends here. It definitely needs a bit of work, but for now, I'm gonna ignore this. Now all that's left to do is just make our connections into these points. And so we're gonna start with these ones right here. We'll use our complex curve tool. We'll snap to guidelines, and we're gonna make sure constant slope is on. From this point, we'll pull all the way up until we get our first guideline, which is gonna be right there. We'll pull that directly in at a 90. And then we're just gonna pull this one all the way up until right here. And now if we're lucky, everything should turn out right. If we're unlucky, there's a little bit of weird sloping that'll happen here. We can fix that after though. And now we just have to do the exact same thing with all of the other roads. All right, and that gives us roughly this, and it's okay. It's not too bad. Definitely needs a bit of love. For starters, let's turn this into an elevated segment. Looking at this part right here, it didn't actually come out as bad as I thought it did. It's fairly reasonable. I'm actually pretty happy with that. And this one isn't too bad at all either. Yeah, I'd say they actually look pretty good. Now all that we're missing is just a few more turn lanes. That way we can try and make this more free flowing. It won't be perfect, but it should do the trick for now. In order to make those turn lanes, we're gonna need to extend this road, and we're just gonna go pretty far, let's say 30 units for now. And then we'll grab our 1-lane, one-way highway, and we're gonna turn on our continuous curve tool, and we're gonna need to do a few more measurements. So we'll go up 5 units, 5 units, 5 units, and if you guessed it, 5 units. Now at all of these points, I just want to connect it in at a 90, because that is going to break all of our nodes. Now if we're coming off, we're going to upgrade this to be an elevated 2-lane, and we want that second lane to form on this side, because then what we'll do is we'll grab our continuous curve tool, we'll go directly up at a 90, and then just a nice gentle little curve in, again to 90. Now we can delete these little sections right here, and let's just take a look. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty solid. The only thing that would concern me now is the fact that this isn't getting its own dedicated lane, but I really don't know if I want to go into a 6-lane configuration right here. It just seems a bit excessive. Before I start worrying about any of that, I'm just gonna finish these on and off ramps. So again, we're gonna grab our 2-lane, one-way highway. Right here, our node's broken, so we'll upgrade this on the right side. Ideally, I want that to be elevated, so we'll upgrade it one more time. Now I can get rid of these 2 points. We can grab our continuous curve tool, grab right here, and then all we have to do is a 90-degree angle, and there we go. Flip that around, and yeah, it's looking pretty good. So we have some movements to ban. So first, I'm gonna remove unsafe. Second, I'm gonna remove the ability to cross. I don't ever want to see that ever. Next, I'm going to ban this right turn, and I'm going to ban the forward movement, and we're also going to remove unsafe. And everything right here makes a lot of sense, and it looks good to me. So we're just going to repeat all of this for the other side. All right, and that gives us this right here. It's pretty big, for sure it definitely is, and this road isn't going to go anywhere yet, but it will in the future, which is why I'm kind of almost over planning this, I'd say, especially with these slip lanes right here. But really, the reason why it's so big is just because I want to make sure that these grades were as gentle as possible, especially considering our port is going to be right here, we want to do our best to respect that the trucks that are coming in from this road would need gentle slopes. It's going to be the same story right here as well. So just taking a look at it right now, if we went down, we can actually get something fairly decent, but then we're not going to have enough room right here on this road. Now I'm already thinking that we'll probably have to push this road back just a little bit because I'm going to want two separate roads right now. So we'll have our main road that branches into our port gate, and then somewhere along here, what we'll have is a second road that branches down here. I want our port to have really strong access, but it's not going to be the only thing that exists here. So that's pretty much why we're going to have a second road that'll come down from here. So let's start working on this. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this back to start with. Then I'll grab our slope terrain tool. I'm going to slope roughly up to here. Show me a gentle slope. 2.6% isn't ideal in my opinion. So I think what I'll do instead is I'm going to focus on the next road that'll come in here. And I want to go roughly about, I don't know, let's say 30 units. I feel like that's a pretty safe number to go with. Mostly just because I want to make sure that there's tons of time for the people getting on to safely get on without having to make another turn. We'll connect this in at a 90, get rid of all the garbage, we don't need it. We're going to slope all the way down, and let's say this one's going to be a bit more rough, and I don't think we're going to get anything better than -3%, so -3% it is. So what we'll do is we'll open up our transportation. In the water tab, we have 3 gates to choose from. The large gate is maybe just a bit too big for our use case. The small one is definitely just a bit too small, although it fits right there perfectly. I could be tempted to use this. If it came with the same upgrades as the medium port, I would probably consider it, but it doesn't, and we want those upgrades, so we're gonna place this, and I'm gonna assume it has to be flat, doesn't it? It definitely does. There's no way it's not gonna grade. Let's see, if I place this right here, yeah, it does automatic grading. And that's not a big deal. We want a lot of room for trucks to queue, so somewhere right about here. And before I can be happy with this, I need to see what the actual slopes are. And of course, it's struggling to show me what it actually is. That's 2.3%. It's not perfect, but it is a game, so I think I'll take it. And so I'm gonna swap to our 2-lane one-way highway. I wanna roughly measure out the distance between this, just so I have a rough idea. About 12 units, that's pretty good. So now we'll grab the right side, use our complex curve tool, turn on snap to guidelines. We'll go up 6, which is roughly in the middle. Go directly over to 90, right in the middle, and connect in. And we'll do the exact same thing on this side. There we go. And that's not perfect by any means. It's definitely just a bit off in terms of symmetricalness, but it's fine. Now I kind of feel a bit uncomfortable about how close this road is to this side's gate. So I think we will rework this just the slightest bit. This does not need to be a 4-lane road, that's for sure. Let's swap this to a 2-lane highway. And we'll move it over, let's say 1 should do the trick. And I think I could live with that. What I will do though is I will grab manipulation mode. I'm gonna hold Alt, and I'm just gonna pull this back to make it nice and gentle. And there we go. It's not very pretty looking, but it should do the trick. And now we have down here where we need to connect our port roads into somewhere. So we don't wanna connect these into normal roads. So we will take our 2-lane port road, and right about here, we're gonna upgrade from all the way down, and we wanna try and get it on that right side. And then we're also gonna take this road as well. And I wanna pull on the left side this time. And I also gentled this curve up a bit. It's not perfect yet, but it's still better than what it was before, which was just a complete 90-degree angle. Now that we have these roads all upgraded, what we can do is we can start working on our connections from our main port. So we'll grab our 2-lane one-way port gate road, and we're gonna pull this down 10 units. We'll do the same thing with this one right here, 10 units. And now I'll grab our 1-lane one-way port gate road. That's honestly a mouthful. I'll snap right onto this point right here. Now I wanna make this a nice, gentle connection. This might just be a bit too big. We'll see in a second, but I have a feeling it's gonna be just a bit too big. I'll reverse the directionality, and then we'll snap onto this point. And we don't want this one to be as crazy, mostly because I don't think we actually have the room for it. We'll see in a second, so then we'll take this one, and we're gonna do the exact same thing, right at a 90, but I'll also take 122, And then we'll connect this one directly in as well. And I think that right there should do the trick. Maybe a bit of wasted space here, but I think as long as we can make these turns more gentle, we're gonna take it. And now I wanna make sure that this movement is banned. Don't turn left here. If you wanna turn left, you should have turned left here. This is for turning right. And for here, this one right here, I don't want you to turn right. You should only be turning left from here. All right, now we're ready to move on, and we wanna get power and water over here. And let's start with power. Now we are just gonna grab our transformer station, and I think we're gonna place that just off the beaten trail. I wanna minimize the amount of junctions, so I'm gonna start right here, and I'm just gonna curve directly into that main point, and that right there should be pretty fine. Now we're ready to grab our high voltage power lines, and I'm not even sure where we could connect this in. Let's turn on our overlay, and it seems like our closest connection is actually right here. So we could probably send these alongside our bridge, but I think we might go underground for these ones. All right, and if everything is working, we should see electricity over here. And no, we do not, because this needs to be upgraded. And now all we have left is water. I feel like we might place down an advanced pumping station, and we'll also do sewage treatment here as well. So we'll need to upgrade this road to be the zonable two-way highway. And I'm not seeing any conflicts, so I'll place that right there. We're also gonna grab the wastewater treatment plant, and I think we're gonna add that right here, right across from it. Now we'll take these two connections, send them up, and then just connect them into our port. Now all of this still needs to be connected into Ashland's network. So we'll grab our combined pipes and just send them all the way down and connect directly into here. And I think that should do the trick for us right there. Now I never used this building, so I'm wondering, does it have any upgrades? No, not a single upgrade. Okay, that's kind of sad. Does this one have any upgrades? It does. So we have the advanced filtering system and the extra processing unit. I kind of like the idea of having an extra advanced filtering system. All right, we're finally ready to start upgrading. Now the first one we have available to us is the customs office, which is +2 import costs, -2 export costs, and a -3 crime rate within 1 kilometer. Now I think we already get a bunch of import cost bonuses, so this honestly doesn't matter in the slightest. So we'll add that in. Next up we have our cranes, our warehouses, our containers, our tank farms, and our small bulk storage. I think to unlock everything else, we need to start transporting goods. So let's get started on that. First thing we're gonna need is one of these cranes, and I think we're gonna start maybe on this side right here. So before we can actually even add in some of our cranes, I think we need to upgrade this and just widen it up a little bit. And the key thing being is that I don't wanna lose any of our current zoning cells or our grids. So we're gonna use our one-way tool to accomplish this. Now I'm almost starting to think that we maybe might get rid of this. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of this for the time being. And I'm actually gonna level all of this out. And now I'm ready to get some of these containers in first, because I think that's what will make the most sense. So let's grab one of these small cargo container yards. We're gonna place that right there, because that'll give us a guideline for where we wanna end this road, which I think we'll do right here. Or actually, maybe we want this road to continue all the way down. So if we do some proper measuring and we go, let's say 20 units. I like the idea of 20 units. It feels nice and safe. And then we connect this back in. There we go. That's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. All right, so now we're just gonna try and mirror the same thing we did on this side. Okay, now I decided just to clean things up a bit further. I tried to add some of the upgrades in, and that's when I realized a lot of the space was outside of the medium ports allowed area. That made me take a look at how long, or I guess how wide I had made it, and that's when I realized there was a lot of things going on that I didn't like. So all I did was rework it ever so slightly, just essentially moving this down just a little bit, doesn't come out as wide, and I think it looks so much nicer. I still want to add a road in here, so we'll need, something kind of like that right there. But I need to know how much space we'll need between this road and the next one. Okay, and after moving everything for a third time, I still don't have enough room. And honestly, at this point in time, I don't really care. I kind of have a specific vision for this port, and I do want it to be pretty big and grow over time. So I'm just gonna ignore this radius and just kind of play how I want to play. And then with our one crane in, let's get some containers back here, because it'll help us see exactly what's being stored and how we can probably center this. Looking at this right here, it seems like we can probably fit 2 of these in here. Then we could take a one-way road and just send it down like this. Now we're using this space, so now with our large container yard, we can have one like this, and I think if we're lucky, we can probably get it just on the other side of this one-way. So let's continue this one-way down for just a bit longer. We'll grab our small container yard, and yes, perfect. Okay, that's so great. I'm glad to see that it fit pretty much perfectly. I think we might add a few more alongside here. And then we're gonna split this just like that. Do the same thing on this side. We'll add in another set of container yards, but this time I wanna try and get them on the opposite side if I can. And I don't think I'll be able to, so it should be fine. Then once again, we'll take our one-way and we're gonna send it all the way up, and we're actually gonna flip this around. So we'll have our one-ways all face this way. Now let's grab another crane, and in order to do that, we have to go back to our medium port. I'm gonna turn Anarchy off because it kind of scares me using it with stuff like this. And we'll place that roughly in the middle. I think we're just gonna add one more right alongside this area. And for this one, I'm not too worried about centering it, mostly because our grid is about to break anyways. Then I want to try and find where the grid breaks, which is roughly right here. And we're just going to send our one-way all the way down, just like that. We'll connect this one in. So maybe we'll just have some more of these small cargo container yards. All right, now we have the basics pretty much in. So we're going to add in our seaway. So we're going to turn off Anarchy. And I want to be pretty careful about this because I don't want to break anything. Even that right there is going to require just a tiny bit of terraforming. So we'll make sure to do that. And then we're just going to connect into our previous seaway. Let's take a look at that bad boy. I did delete some of it and I did fix some of it. And actually we're going to delete this cargo port right now. And that's going to give us a bunch of problems with our pathing. So let's just find all of these routes and delete them. All right, now this track is no longer connected. Not a big deal. We're gonna probably send this into our outside connection. I don't see why we wouldn't. I guess it really depends on what happens with this area. Now we're gonna delete these seaways right here, and we're just gonna connect it all back in. Now it probably wasn't necessary to do all of this, but I figured why not? And now we just have to connect these two in. Okay, and I think we're ready to set up our ship route. So from this one right here, we're going to connect that into Neath, and then we'll send it back. From the middle one, we'll send that to Bigfoot, and then connect it back in. And I don't think Royal Lakes exists anymore. No, it doesn't. I believe if we just get rid of this path, that should disappear now. And for some reason it doesn't. That's kind of interesting. So what if I just connect that in? Connecting this one in gives me a new connection from Swarm. That's a bit odd to me, but I believe Royal Lake should work now, right? Yeah, so now this one will work. So we're gonna send Royal Lakes into the last one and then all the way back. And now let's take a quick look at our lines to see what vehicles are running on them. So it's between a large cargo ship or a cargo ship. I think I'm just gonna let this completely randomize and not really worry about it too much. All right, and with that, we should be able to ship and receive goods. In fact, it looks like we have our first ship coming in. It's metal ore and electronics. We produce a lot of electronics. I don't know why you're bringing electronics here. Okay, never mind. We don't anymore. We used to produce a bunch, but I guess now not so much. So we have a big deficit in timber. In fact, it seems to be our biggest one, I believe. Timber and concrete. In terms of crude oil, we're doing amazing. We have 2 kilotons, I believe, of production. So 1.69 kilotons of surplus. And what a majestic turn into the cargo port. I don't think I've ever seen a more realistic turn in my life. Now, everything is still moving like a snail's pace. We're simulating at 0.5, 0.6. I guess I should have given it a bit more time before starting the build. I did let almost an hour pass though. Either way, that was our first 612 tons, which actually puts us surprisingly close. I guess they don't count goods by the tons, they count it by just the individual good itself. So we're already at 600,000 and we just need to get to 10 million. Wow, some of this requires 60 million. Okay, well, we'll get there soon. We'll definitely get there soon. And actually, that reminds me, we have a loan, don't we? We do. And now we don't. Now it's paid off, and I don't feel too bad. So I think we could keep adding more storage in, but I want to wait until we have some more stuff unlocked to see all the things we can actually use before I just go crazy on all the things. So I'm going to let that do its thing for a bit. In the meantime, let's work on getting a train line into here. All right, so up here by the logging industry that we just built and the Rosewood Industrial Park, we have this train track right here. And we're gonna need to send it all the way down. And we do have a few problems over here, and that's gonna be terrain. So we're gonna have to work around a lot of this and be very, very careful. This is primarily freight rail, so I don't want to have anything higher than 3%. Even 3% is kind of pushing it. All right, so we're gonna grab our double train track, and then from right here, let's send this all the way down and see what we get. 4.5%, not even close. 0.2% is pretty much perfect. We'll turn off ground level because I believe it should give us a bridge. And yes, it does. That's a very meh bridge. Do we have anything a bit nicer? From Tygon's rail infrastructure pack, we do have this tied arc bridge. All right, and that's not too bad. Maybe a bit fancy for almost no reason, but yeah, I'm gonna keep moving forward now. As we approach this area, I think maybe this is when we're gonna go under. Yeah, because we can go under right about here. We can kind of do something just like that right there. So I want to come out from roughly right here. So I'm gonna put our tracks in for now. And that is one broken, ugly underground bridge. I finally got it. Okay, that looks reasonable. That's so exciting. Spent way too many times messing around with this. And although it may not be perfect, I'm going to consider it perfect before I go crazy. And I think I've actually figured out the trick. You just need to turn the retaining wall on both sides. Go roughly to where you want to start. Turn the retaining wall off, and then connect into the segment that you want to connect into. I do got it. Nice. Okay. Yeah, it's not perfect, but again, I'm going to take it. All right, now we do have this bit of industrial, this bus depot, and this road maintenance that we'll have to go over. So we're going to need to start increasing our height. And I hope I gave us enough time to do that. So across 60 units, we'll go up 20 meters. And it seems like we'll want to come in just right here, right in between all these businesses. And I don't think we need to go as high. We only need 10 meters to clear this right here. So let's snap onto our zoning grid. And yeah, that's pretty much perfect right there. And we actually have somewhat of a new problem. There's no way we're going over this cemetery. I don't see it happening. I can imagine people rightfully being very upset about that. So the alternative is that we need to somehow get to right about here. So we're going to set that down for now, and then as long as we get to right about this point, we should be fine. So let's connect these two in. And then from here, I think the play is to actually go right here. It looks like I got rid of a few businesses though. I'm not worried about them. They'll come back bigger and stronger. Now let's just reorientate what we got going on down here. All right, and that's pretty much perfect for me. Now for the rest of this, I'm just gonna follow close to the highway, send it directly into our outside connection, and then we'll need to figure out what we're gonna do to get it into here, because this is also a very, very hilly area. All right, now I think I know how I want to do the train tracks, so let's start with this side right here, and we'll make our way back over here, because I just have a feeling it's going to be easier. Now, I don't actually know how big the building is that has the train tracks in it, so what we're just going to do is snap onto the grid right here for now, and we can make adjustments later when we need it. Next, the only viable spot that I could see going through is right here, or right here. Now we already have our interchange here, so I don't think we're going to go through here. So right here seems to be our next best bet. I want to do a bit of prep here and find some sort of even ground. Maybe that's right here at 55.4. And I'm just going to pull this all the way through because we're going to do a bit of tunneling anyways. Yeah, so I think we're going to tunnel from roughly right here to right here, and then we'll curve into our track. Now the good news is we didn't actually have to tunnel, so that makes this project just slightly more viable than it would have been. We did have to put up the retaining wall, but that's not as bad. All right, and this side of the port is pretty much ready to go. Now we just need to make our way back down over here. And so I think really what I want to do is just try and follow these contour lines as much as possible, but also at the same time, I want to make sure we're trying to get a straight angle. And I wonder, what's the total grade from here to here? That's not bad at all. So if we go at 180 degrees, we have 0.1%. That's pretty much perfect. I'm kind of tempted just to see what would happen if I just add this in. What will it give us? And so it gives us a tunnel. Interesting. I think we might take the tunnel. I think it gives us our straightest path, and we have 0.1% grade. So yeah, we're going to do the tunnel for sure. We have to clean a few parts up. So we're going to start right here. All right, now both sides are looking pretty good, and there is our train connection. Almost a straight angle too, which is really nice to see. All right, let's check to see our upgrades. Do we have enough? We're not even close. We're almost there, but we definitely need more time to pass. So while we wait for this to have enough goods delivered, let's try and find something else to do. I think right away, there is one thing I want to do before I forget, and I'm going to take our suburbs down just another notch. So we have our sunken highway, and I did that for a reason, so that we could bridge these over, but I overbuilt our suburbs like crazy, and I really want to take them down a few pegs. I think really there could be 2 more connections into this, so we could take River Street and curve somewhere into one of these streets right here, and then we could take Hill Street and curve into one of these streets right here. And that alone is going to improve connectivity like crazy, because right now there's still not enough connections. So let's get this fixed. All right, I'm starting to go crazy. It's been 2 hours and I've barely simulated a month. Right now, we only have 4.57 million. So I have a theory. I want to test it, and I really hope it works. Let's just quickly baseline what the simulation speed is right now. So it bounces anywhere between 0.4 to 0.8, but on average, it seems like it's around 0.6. In settings, we're gonna go to citizen entity cleaner. I'm gonna check corrupt citizens, moving away, and maybe commuters, we'll see. Then we're gonna click refresh counts. 5,346 citizens to clean. What if we also select commuters? 7,452, okay, not bad. And if we do homeless, 8,155. So it says be careful, deleting homeless can cause unknown side effects. I'll leave homeless alone, and I'm just gonna clean up every single other one. Now let's see, where are we at? It really doesn't seem to be improving, and I'm just confused on what the problem is because I just don't understand what's going on. Like, I see all these high resource costs, and that makes sense for the most part. I mean, this is still kind of crazy. So apparently this business has high resource costs. Okay, great. So they sell convenience food. Right now they have 1,000 customers per month. They only spend $193,000 on all their supplies, their wages, etc. They make $113,000 in profit alone. And of course they have concrete. Oh, okay. So there is another fix that I'm tempted to try for this. One that I'm not exactly excited to do though. So I just want to go through and check a few. Let's see. Concrete. This company sells textiles, but for some reason they have timber. This company sells convenience food, but for some reason they have concrete. This company sells electronics, but for some reason they have concrete. So I do know of a fix. I am a bit scared to do it though. Let's go into our dev menu, and I believe if we go into economy, actually no, it's under cleanup. So simulation, cleanup, reset commercial storage. I've clicked it, and I hope we can see some good news. Yeah, so now they have 0 out of 8, 0 out of 8 tons, and they're all gonna have 0 out of 8 tons. Now this won't apply to our office buildings, and I didn't see a way to do that in the dev menu. I only seen commercial storage, but if I can fix commercial storage, I'm happy with that. And I'm hoping that by resetting all of their storage, they're gonna get the appropriate items, and then I'm gonna take a guess, and just, it's a wild shot to be honest, and say that there is a pathfinding cost or something in regards to the simulation and how it's calculating. So I could imagine that it's constantly sending pathfinding requests for resources, but it can't take any more resources because it has concrete instead of convenience food. Only a guess. I have no idea. I'm gonna hope this fixes it though. And also, I forgot to say what I did to the suburbs. It's kind of patchwork right now. I'll fix it up later on, but this road is gonna go through here. I tried to put some commercial in here, and I have no demand, so the only thing we got was 2 hotels. And funny enough, they both have no companies in them, which is just great. So I'm just gonna get rid of both of them now. Somehow we have another 2 hotels with nothing in them. All right, now I'm hoping I'm gonna get some commercial demand soon, and we can use that. And what is, oh my, 4 hotels. Okay. So what I was saying is I was hoping I'm gonna get some commercial demand soon, and we can put some more commercial alongside this road right here and this road. I mean, all of that kind of is besides the point though, because we're trying to build a port here, but we're just struggling. And I'm trying everything I can. So I have more containers than last time, more routes than last time, more ships than last time. I've disabled pretty much all of our routes from our cargo train terminals, both of them. So none of them have routes right now. And as we can see, their stock out is becoming much higher for almost all of the items. Okay, so it's been another 50 minutes. We're still only in December. I was at 8 times the entire time. I wanted it to simulate as fast as possible. It was not happening. Something else is going on behind the scenes that I'm just not able to see right now. Thankfully, I figured out a different way to fix this. So if we click on this building and we open up our dev menu, we actually get all of the upgrades. Now, what I like about this is that these upgrades are actually part of the actual cargo gate. So we can see right here, the distance is too long, but over here, we don't have a problem other than overlapping items. So this is how we're gonna finish out our cargo port. I hope you're all for it. I know it's not the best way to do it, but it's the only way that I can think of to do it right now. And let's get a few things in here. So I do know I want at least one of these big warehouses. And I almost feel like, actually, wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get the train station in. That's what I really wanted to get in. And here it is right here. this beautiful little asset. Let's, I guess we're probably not going to do too many complex curves, especially when we have some of these cranes right here. I feel like we could probably just get away with adding it right here. Now I want to back our train line up just a tiny bit. And now with Anarchy enabled, we'll grab our train terminal type storage thing. And I think we're going to place that right about there. Now we're going to connect these two in. Just like that. Perfect. Now I think I want another big storage yard. I might even just put one of these warehouses right here too. It fits pretty well. Yeah, I think as long as we can change the color of this roof, because that white is blinding. And we can. Perfect. And we can get a road through here. This is just perfect. Okay. And this time I just want one of the bigger storage yards. Where are they? We have our warehouses. We have our cranes. I'm not even sure what I just clicked, but it costs 50,000 and does some type of upgrade to our cranes. An extension of some sort. This is how the DLC was meant to be played. Definitely. Okay, here we go. Here it is. Now I'm just going to extend this road to connect into this one. That way we have a bit more space to place some things. Okay, I think I'm going to do more containers here. And we're already storing a lot of ore and stuff like that right alongside here. So I think down here I'm going to swap these out to be these medium-sized containers. And then right here we can just barely fit some of these small oil tankers in, or I guess the medium oil tankers. I wasn't going to place them here, but I think I will, just to vary it up a tiny bit. Now I want to start working on this side, and I think we're just going to go primarily oil. So first thing we're going to need to do is extend this road and delete this seaway. And now we have just the perfect amount of space to add in some of these tank farms. Okay, so I can't change the colors of these to recolor. At least that's what they want you to think. You just gotta click on them. Same thing with these cargo crates. If you're really sick of these boring colors because it's all just the same color, just open up the actual painter, select it, and you can change these colors to whatever you want. Now maybe I'll mess around with these color schemes a little bit later, but for right now that'll do. We're gonna add on our security. I almost kind of like the idea of placing that pretty much right here. Right in the center. That way you see security when you walk past it. Then we have our canteen, and we definitely need a few of these somewhere around. I don't think we want it on our actual valuable space that we'll use for storage, but maybe a few back here. And I guess you're only meant to have one. Well, the interesting thing is we can cheat this, so I want more than one. We have our emergency response building, which, okay, so they're fire essentially. I think a building like this is probably going to be really good around oil, but we also don't want them too far down because we want them to be able to respond to pretty much anywhere in this area. So I think what we'll do is kind of place that just right here along this road. And then it seems like for buildings, that's pretty much everything except for the side gates, which we're not going to add in yet. So now that's pretty much everything that the DLC has to offer. Now we're having some crime issues over here, so let's give all this a district. And for right now, I'll just call it the port hub, and we need some police services over here. And I don't really think these guys are gonna get their full-on own services, but what we can do is put a very basic police station over here. And actually, I kind of like the idea of this one right here. It almost has an office feeling to it, and I think that'll work. Now let's take a quick look at our population, because I want to know how many people are unemployed, and only 3.6%. Not really a lot. I was going to place a bunch of industrial around here, but we can't even really justify it, can we? It's nice to see that most of our high resource costs are gone. Now I think what I will do is grab our cargo railway tool, because we're going to connect into here. And I think we're going to drag this all the way down. And then we're going to drag it all the way back. And then we'll also grab the second connection. And we're going to drag that all the way to this one right here. And could we go to our other one too? I think we could. So we'll go to here. And we'll come back up and around. And that's kind of a convoluted route, but I think it should be fine. And we'll send this one back there. I think we only need a few more routes. So we'll grab one route from right here, which is Old Monroe. And we're going to bring that all the way into this terminal. And then just all the way back. And then last but not least, we'll have one that comes from Buckfast to our cargo terminal and back. Now that should be a hefty amount of routes. I think we might need to do a bit of capacity work here. Okay, and after a little bit of fiddling around with it, I got it to work. So now we have one line that's essentially designed for waiting and should give a bit of clearance. I don't know how well that'll work, so we'll need to keep an eye on this. Speaking of that, let's check our passenger train terminal. And what is going on here? 1,800 passengers waiting. Our line usage is only at 60%. I think we're still going to upgrade our car. So we have a diesel 4 car. Is there a diesel 6 car? Yes, there is. So we're going to swap to that one and we're going to get rid of our 4 car. Now that should give us a bunch more capacity. Next up, let's take a look at this bus station right here. And yeah, we're at 113% utilization. Let's bump this up to say 5 vehicles. I'd love to know where these people are going. Old Monroe, where are you going? You're going all the way over here? So what, you're gonna hop on the train station, you'll stop here. From here, you'll hop on the subway, you'll stop here, go over to our bus station, and the bus will take you directly to here. And then from this bus station, I believe there's a route that pretty much goes right beside their house. Yeah, pretty much. So I think their house was right here. There's a bus stop right here. All I have to do is cross the street, hop on this path, and they're good to go. So they almost have like, it's not like a direct one route access, but it isn't impossible to get to their house. And what's going on? We have no vehicles. Why do we have no vehicles? Did all those cargo lines eat up our train capacity? If that's the case, I guess I could just add on a few more here. All right, and that gives us 11 vehicles for our subways. What is this? Like, don't get me wrong, I love it, but like, what is this? So 102% usage. What is the capacity of one of these? 320. What would a subway train give us? 1,080. Yeah, this is definitely gonna be a much better fit. 2 of them should be close to enough. We have 1,500 passengers waiting, and that's just at this station. At the next one, we have 884, 378, 390, 1,500. Yeah, so I think what we're gonna do is put 3 on this route, and apparently there's 4. Okay. And wow, what is going on over here? Okay, so everyone wants to hop on this tram line. It has 120% usage. This is insane. We're gonna bump this up to 4 vehicles because I think we know where our simulation problems are coming from. Okay, how's our queue looking? Only 148 passengers waiting. Perfect. That's what we want to see. That right there. What about this line right here? Yeah, you know, it's definitely seen some better days. So I think this is where we're going to call it for now. This has been... Actually, wait, we need to solve garbage here, which is going to be super simple. Although I don't know if the recycling center will deal with all of the garbage here, but we can try it out. Maybe we'll get lucky. Let's jump into detailing. let's jump into a quick before and after. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed. Huge thanks to all of our amazing Patreon and YouTube members: Jake Hill, Gary Key, Deku, Ganger, Griffin, Delpha Supreme, Javante Mormon, Mihai B, Canyon Tiger, Jay Stokes, Middleveen, and Vansky. If you want to check out Ashland for yourself, get some really cool member badges, see some sneak peeks, and much more, join us over on Patreon or our YouTube memberships. Other than that, I'll see you in the next one.